Welcome back to another episode of Transform Yourself, the podcast where we dive into real life strategies and help you shed those pounds for good without losing your sanity. I am your host, Kacy, your go-to weight loss coach. I am joined by my husband, Tyler.
Hello.
We have lost a collective 130 pounds, and we've kept it off for about 3 years now. And today we are talking about something that every one of us struggles with, even the two of us. And that is
an overbearing tax code.
No.
Oh. Well, we all, I'm still right.
You are right.
It's like 50% of my money goes to taxes, some way, form, or fashion.
Yeah, this is true. But no, we are not talking about taxes.
Oh, okay.
That I would, I would turn off a podcast if it was about taxes. We are talking about motivation. We are talking about the all elusive, sometimes not, motivation. And here's the kicker. It is not magical. I am not going to give you some amazing hack on how to conjure up the
motivation spell.
Yeah.
Like a motivation fairy is going to float in the window and dust you with... What would motivation dust be? Would there be creatine? Would there be... maybe dark...
Creatine is motivation dust.
Yeah.
I like it. I could get behind that. Possibly. Maybe, you know what motivation dust is for me? It's coffee. Coffee is caffeine is some really amazing motivation dust.
I mean, it's the most socially acceptable drug we all take.
It really is. So we're going to talk about motivation, and here's why. So many of my clients or small group members or just women in my DMs ask me, how do you stay motivated to continue to do whatever it is, fill in the blank, drink the water, go on the walks, do the workouts, eat in a healthy, sustainable way. And
it's only like one easy hack, right?
Right. So
gym owners hate this.
Right. So first and foremost, motivation is not going to show up at your door, much unlike, Amazon Prime. You're not going to get a knock at your doorstep with a smile and a package at your door. So motivation's not going to show up that way. And I hear it from clients, Kacy, I just don't have the motivation. And to that, I say, of course you don't. Motivation is like a friend who never RSVPs, but still shows up after you've already started having fun. You don't wait for it, you get moving, and then the motivation tags along later. I see you thinking.
I'm just thinking about that in my personal opinions on motivation.
Okay, tell me your personal opinions on motivation.
I mean, I don't think it exists really.
Okay, so what do you think exists?
It's discipline.
Okay.
Discipline is what exists. And discipline is what, when you get up somehow you're able to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go for a walk, go for a run, go lift. And then you have to put your shoes on. And it's like you're sitting on your couch and the house is silent. And you're already up.
Because you're the only one up.
You're the only one up. And you're just sitting there looking at those shoes. Like David Goggins, which if you don't know him, he's like a dude influencer essentially on the internet who does...
He's a Marine.
He was a SEAL.
Oh, SEAL, sorry.
And he runs ultra marathons. So like 100+ mile races. Like crazy races. And he talks often about, getting ready for a run, like going for like a 7-mile run and just sitting there looking at his shoes thinking like, I don't want to do this. But if you want to be the person you want to be and you want to achieve what you want to achieve, you got to lace the Nikes up and get going.
Right. And so you're saying in lieu of motivation, you just need discipline, which is in line with what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because what I'm saying is in lieu of motivation, being the first thing that you need action. But in order to take that action, you need discipline. So think about it. Have you ever seen anyone accomplish anything by sitting on a couch waiting for a bolt of inspiration?
No,
I mean,
that's
right?
that's kind of why I don't really believe. Well, because motivation is going and doing something when you feel good and you want to, and you're like, "Gee, Willikers, I just it's a beautiful day. I want to get out and make something of myself."
True, but that's not always the case. Like we don't wake up that way, right?
In fact, I would say that is outside of whatever honeymoon period you go through starting a new routine. Like that's not the way it is,
right? As
ever.
much as we love the idea,
For anyone,
a magical force is not going to swoop in and make you want to work out or eat better or any of that. That is the truth, and so we have to start that process, even if we don't feel like it. Even if you don't want to, you have to start. So, did you know that only 8% of people actually achieve their New Year's resolutions? This is just a quick
I'm
little
surprised
fact.
it's that high, quite frankly.
And the reason is because probably the other 92% were sitting there waiting for their motivation to tap them on the shoulder.
Yeah. And I get it. It's I know it's super easy for me to say because literally every single person on the planet struggles with it. If you don't believe me, go on YouTube, go find a CrossFit athlete who does like a vlog or something and see how much they struggle with it. And they're like at the top, like they're professional athletes. They get paid to work out.
Right.
And it's still a struggle and they love it. It's their passion and it's
Right.
still hard.
Right. So then let's break it down for the listener. Let's break it down on how. Okay, great. You just told me that it's really tough to do, that very few people, actually go through with their New Year's resolution. It's hard to take. You have to have discipline. You have to get up off the couch. Great. Okay, now how? I'm sure the listeners are thinking, great. Now tell me what? What am I supposed to do? So here's the practical side of it. You have to start small to win big. So if motivation is not going to magically appear, how do you build it? You have to build it, right? So the answer is start small. That's it. So picture this. If your goal is to run a marathon, you don't start by sprinting 26 miles. You start by putting on your running shoes. Mm-hmm. And success breeds motivation. But if you start too big, failure is going to beat you down every time. And so you need to have small wins. But the only way you're going to get small wins if you start small. You have to give yourself a goal of which you're like, yeah, that goal, I could give myself that goal, but that just seems too easy. Well, great.
Go for it.
Go for it. Give yourself that goal.
Rack up some wins, man.
Yeah, exactly. Put some W's in your column.
Yeah.
And bam, all of a sudden, when you start collecting the W's, you feel like you're winning. You feel like you want to continue the process. And continuing the process means you're taking more action. Taking more action means you are building motivation. But why? Because that action breeds success. That's why.
Yeah. And I would apply that kind of a mentality to, 'cause, you need to start small and grow up. And that was like a similar mentality I used when kind of getting stuff for my little garage gym setup.
Right.
Was I need to be using what I have on a consistent basis before I justify spending $1,000 or $500 or $100 on stuff. If I'm not using what I already have.
That's true.
And I've had the same thing with like running shoes. I keep track of the mileage on my running shoes.
You do.
Yes.
You're such a nerd.
Because
I love it. That's so nerdy of you. I did
because
not know
then it's like like you can tell by the wear patterns and how they feel like when they've worn out. But that's like the best way is like, hey, I want to get like 400 or 500 miles out of these things. Keep track of it. And then it's justified.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. So I mean that's a little bit tangential to what we're talking about, but
yeah. So another example, when I say small, when I'm talking about tiny goals. If your goal is just to get more active, then don't go and aim for a 1 hour workout right away. Too many clients all the time come to me, and when I tell them, hey, let's start you with 20-minute workouts. They're like, really? Seriously? That's it? I'm like, yeah, the reason is because you haven't been doing any. If I tried to give a new client who has not been working out an hour workout, well, they're certainly not going
They're going
to
to struggle.
Yeah, they're going to struggle. They're going to certainly not feel like they're winning. But you can break that down even further if you want. If you want to start with a 5-minute workout, just start with 5 minutes. And I know that sounds crazy, but do the 5 minutes and then celebrate the heck out of that win, because however small, it is a success. The success gives you a dopamine hit, and your brain is like, yeah, okay, I did it. Let's keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like getting a text from your first crush. You're not planning your wedding yet, but you're feeling really good about it. It was a really small thing.
I literally don't know what you're talking about. So
I just made an analogy. I'm just saying, like, for us women,
I'm
like, if you get a text from a boy that you're super
waiting.
excited about that text, right? You're not going. Anyways, starting small, right?
No, I know I get that. I get that piece.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to start with you can start with walk around the block.
Yeah.
Literally 10-minute walk.
Yeah.
Hey, let's do that for 10 days. Let's do 10 days in a row. And then after 10 days in a row, if you can do it, let's do 2 laps.
Oh, do you know what I did last week? In fact, I don't think I even told you. On our last podcast, I talked about the idea that I needed to incorporate small bouts of cardio in my routine.
Yep.
And so after my strength training sessions at the gym, 3 days last week, I did 15 minutes on the treadmill afterwards. I had originally wanted it to be 20 minutes each for 3 times per week. But I will tell you that first time I was like, ooh, I was 10 minutes in and I was like, oh, this sucks. I really don't want to be on here. And so I thought, you know what? That's okay. I'm still considering it a win. Let's go to 15. And that's only 5 more minutes. I can handle 5 more minutes. And then if I do 15 3 times a week this past week, I can maybe do 15 again 3 times a week on the treadmill, 3 times a week next week. And then I'm just going to slowly work. I might do 16 the next week and slowly work my way up to 20. And then all of a sudden it's not going to feel so hard anymore after I've been doing it for a while.
Okay, and let's talk about that. If you have been doing it for a while, and then it's I don't know, like it's a Thursday and you're coming in, you fly in super duper late. Well, Friday is gonna be real rough. You'll be real tired. Maybe you don't really have the juice to go work out. Like you don't have to have an all or nothing mentality. Go out and just do some stretching.
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
Go out and get some sun. Like it doesn't have to be, even if you're like further down the road, it doesn't, if you instead of just missing a day and saying, oh, well, screw it. If you do something, like that's literally better than nothing.
This is true.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. There have been moments in
Some
my
days
life.
You just got to do it.
Yeah, there have been moments in my life where I did not want to work out. I got in the garage. I put my shoes on reluctantly. I reluctantly walked into the garage. I reluctantly turned on the music, trying so hard to find that motivation. Didn't know where it was. Still wasn't there. I told myself I was going to do a 20-minute workout, and I ended up doing 5 minutes. But I will tell you, I am still proud of those 5 minutes. I remember doing a 5-minute workout once. I remember thinking, you know what? That's okay. I did 5 minutes. It was a lot better than doing nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And so it also kind of just kept the habit in place that
I think
put
that's
on
the
my
most
shoes,
important thing.
I went in the garage and I got started, and it kept that habit in place, and that's okay.
I think that, and and I didn't do a very good job explaining, but that was really, I guess, my kind of point was keep the momentum up, even if like you have a day where you can't do the regular workout or the regular whatever. You can't for time or for energy reasons. Do something. Just do something.
So let's talk about the actual cycle. So the small actions we just talked about, that is going to help build success. And success is going to help build motivation. So that's where the magic happens, is when you start with that small action, you experience success, it sparks motivation, and it's a cycle. And it continues round and round and round, which leads to more action, which leads to more success, which leads to more motivation. And that's how it works. If you wait around for the motivation to start, you're going to put the cart before the horse, and no one is going to go anywhere in that scenario. It's the success that builds your confidence, and the confidence that creates the momentum. So once you get moving, even with the smallest win, you are proving to yourself that you can do this. And then that next action doesn't feel so daunting. It's kind of like playing a video game. You start on the easy level, and as you succeed, you get braver and more confident, and then you tackle the harder levels. And that's how we build sustainable, lasting motivation.
Just like Mario trying to save the princess.
Just like it. I was so good at that game when I was
10
years old.
Like in Mario Kart,
good.
you don't just start on Rainbow Road. You have to build your way up to Rainbow Road.
Oh, Rainbow Road is so hard.
Yeah.
I fall off Rainbow Road all the time when I'm playing
That's
Mario
the
Kart.
problem with Rainbow Road. There's no guardrails. Ain't no guardrails.
So there you have it. If you've been waiting for motivation to knock on your door,
It ain't coming.
It's not coming, right? Time to stop waiting and time to start acting.
Doing.
Yes.
Get up and do it.
So remember, motivation isn't something you find. It's something that you build. And you have to start small, stack your wins, and let those small successes fuel the fire for more. So I challenge you, listener, today to right now, after this podcast, pick one tiny action that you can take towards your goal. Make it so small that you cannot fail. And whether that's drinking one glass of water or getting outside for a 5-minute walk, just do something. And before you know it, the motivation you've been waiting for is going to find you, right? Or you will have found it, I guess, is a better way of saying it, because you will be building it. If you are looking for more tips or tricks, maybe a little tough love, you know where to find me right here on Transform Yourself. If you're looking for weight loss resources, if you need to calculate your calorie deficit, you're looking for low-calorie cookbooks, you can find all things at thecalorie-deficit-queen.com. Thank you for joining us on another episode of Transform Yourself. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to leave a review, share the love. And until next time, keep shining, keep smiling, and keep transforming yourself.
Adios.